welcome everyone to the Knockout episode 6. So this was a delayed episode, but it's because Unruly got sick last time and couldn't make it. Understandable, take care of yourself first and all that. We got a little bit of a time schedule today, so let's bring the contenders in here. First and foremost, let's welcome Unruly Simion. Welcome, Unruly. He will be.
What's up, comic world?
Yep, you will be arguing Loki, the god of mischief, and all that. I look forward to your argument. And we got Mint Hunter Comics, who was gracious enough to join me last time still when we did an exhibition round of the knockout, because I felt like a competition here, so I wanted to fight still. So yeah, here we go. So we got Loki versus Owlman. So the old god of mischief and the ultimate criminal mastermind. At least that's how I kind of figured it, because he's an evil version of Batman. So why wouldn't he be, trickier to beat? So, Mint Hunter has volunteered to go second, or I'll just go second. So Unruly Simion here will be taking the opening round. You both have one official challenge. If you don't like how the argument is going, you don't think something applies, that Unruly Simion is doing something that just doesn't quite, you think is fair to the fight. So, and then you both make a brief summary argument, and I will decide who has the better case and who gets to have their side in the argument. So why don't we start off with Unruly? What do you say? Why does Loki win?
Loki wins because he's a god. Now, in the comics, he's the son of a frost giant, and it's the same in the MCU. But so in the MCU, don't you all get the kind of feeling it's more technology than actual godhood? But that doesn't really matter. In mythology and in Marvel Comics, Loki is a god. He's Thor's adopted brother and Odin's son. I have a white German Shepherd running circles around me right now named Loki. But, he first appeared in comics back when, how old was I when this came out? I was exactly -1 years old.
Nice.
But he's a badass. He's a trickster. He worms his way into people's heads and tricks them into doing the stuff he wants. He's a badass in that regard. He's not without physical strength. He's duked it out, actually, with some heavy hitters during the course of the last 58 years of Marvel mythology, and he's a wicked-ass sorcerer. At one point, he gets turned into a tree, and this is in the comics. And this is remember those old Tales of Asgard that used to run in the back of Thor? This is one of those stories. Odin turns him into a tree and says, "Until someone sheds a genuine tear over you, you shall remain a tree." Well, Loki manages to scoot one of his leaves into Heimdall's eye, and Heimdall actually cries, his eyes water up, thus fulfilling, Odin's boundaries. But his exploits are just far too numerous. He's gone through so many iterations. He's been a chick. He's been a child again, pretty recently. And in his child iteration, he wasn't an evil trickster. He had those memories kind of hidden from him. He knew that he had done bad things in the past, and eventually his old evil self overtook him. But he let that happen out of nobleness. And I'm not going to go into all the particulars, but he had to let evil Loki come back to save the day. But man, he's a badass. Y'all remember the Avengers where Thor swammed him? Bam, bam, bam. Puny god. Now, could Owlman stand up to that kind of physical abuse? I think not, barring some exoskeleton.
Thank you. All right, Mint Hunter.
All right, I think I'll take it over from here. And firstly, Unruly, let me say, a 6.0 in that book, that's pretty respectable. I'm a little jealous, man. But here's the thing with Owlman versus Loki. Loki has the supreme benefit of a nice bloodline meets with some notoriety. Everybody knows Loki. He's a household name. But if you look at the MCU, he's constantly getting his ass clapped. This dude can't stand up ever. He's always getting beaten by Thor. He's getting whacked around by Hulk. He doesn't stand a chance. Now, Owlman has only been in comics in, honestly, a select few storylines. He is a terribly underused character, but he's a character that is so powerful because he is simply the opposite of Batman. He's from Earth 3, which is basically evil version of our Earth. So the entire populace is fed off of evil instead of good, where it is on our Earth. So he has the ultimate willpower. He has all of the fighting and detective skills as Batman. And as we know, Batman can go toe-to-toe with Superman and even come out on top. But unlike Batman, he has artificially high intelligence and super strength and night vision and the ability to do mind control. In the earliest iteration, he was able to do mind control. Interestingly, they haven't gone over that in recent years. Point being, Owlman is so tough that the writers are afraid to write about him. He literally, Loki is getting killed by people left and right. The only time that I've seen Owlman die in recent years was that he sat in the Mobius chair and was solely getting all the answers to the universe so bad that Dr. Manhattan himself had to intervene and kill Owlman. We're dealing with a character so powerful that Dr. Manhattan has to intervene. Otherwise, Owlman would just win the day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was a fairly fun fight. So I love how I randomized the stuff. I got some fun fights out of it. But yeah, so the question is, you got magic versus brains and all that. A lot of brains and all that.
His best thing going for him is brains. Yeah.
Yeah. So who's gonna win in this fight? Exactly. What do you guys have to bring? Feel free to have at it.
Well, Loki's pretty sharp. Now, granted, from what I've read of Owlman, he's not nearly that level, but he's sly, and he's been alive for many, many, many millennia, as far as we know. He's got all that experience in being able to get inside somebody's head and twist them to do his nefarious bidding.
Mm-hmm. Owlman was able to survive his universe being destroyed, though. That's beating the system right there. I gotta say, that's pretty good. In addition to that, he essentially, we've seen Batman become the greatest detective of all time. And essentially, he's able to do the same thing. And if you did watch, I actually forget, what's it, Crisis on Two Earths?
I think so.
Yeah, I forget the name of that. It's an animated movie where Owlman's part of this villains unit called the Crime Syndicate, and they're up against the Justice League and all that. And eventually, there's a plot going on in the movie, but Owlman is shown basically doing his own thing aside from Ultraman and all the other members of the Crime Syndicate. He's got his own plans, and basically his own plan was to rule the Prime Earth, the ultimate Earth there. So he's able to, out of sheer heightened intelligence, he's able to create ways of obtaining access to all the multiverses. And he really is just a guy with some superior brain intellect, and he's able to do all this. That's cray. That's crazy.
Nice, yeah.
I'm not going to say Loki's no slouch. He's a smart guy for sure. I don't know. Is Loki able to conjure up multiverses? Is he able to outthink Batman? Is he able to bang Superman's wife without Superman even knowing?
He banged Thor's wife without Thor knowing.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Until he told him. But now, and you made a good point. Loki's always getting his ass kicked. But look at that list of luminaries that are capable of kicking his ass: Thor, Hulk, Thanos. I'm pretty sure that's if you went 13-3 and those are the three you lost against, you could hold your head up high.
Yeah, but I don't know if you take away the magic or take away the strength or whatever. You got two very intelligent people here. I think that, honestly, I mean, if I was voting here, I would be more tinted towards Owlman based on his brain power. How is Loki gonna outthink the evil, detective Batman and all that?
Because Loki is the original trickster. He's been doing this forever. Literally, for all we know, forever he's been doing this. Owlman might have survived the death of his universe. Loki has tricked all the gods of Asgard. He's tricked mankind. I'm pretty sure he could use that intellect, his ability to lie, and bring it around. But you know what? Here's the deal. I can't see in all actuality Loki and Owlman going at it. They'd probably form an alliance, both of them planning to stab each other in the back, at the appropriate moment.
Well, just like Owlman, you said forming an alliance. And Loki, I definitely envision as the backstabber. Owlman he's very methodical, and just like Batman, he likes to act alone. It's kind of his thing. While the whole crime syndicate, which is Earth 3's version of the Justice League, while they're all doing their thing, he's always got his own plan. He's always got something up his sleeve and going about and doing his own thing. And it comes back even as a surprise to the crime syndicate. Like, what the hell did he just do right now?
Yeah.
It actually reminds me of when the Justice League, when they find out that Batman has contingency plans for all of them, very popular story, and they're all pissed. That you get the same moment actually with the crime syndicate, because Owlman's out like doing his own thing and like conquering universes, while the rest of them are like off doing their petty small stuff.
Yeah. Good point there. Definitely got a good point. I don't see Owlman joining up at all too, because he fought for himself. Even in the Crisis on Two Earths, his plan was to destroy Earth Prime, which would wipe out all the Earths in existence. Because
the crime syndicate had no idea he was.
Yeah, they were going to use a bomb to hold the world at ransom instead of spending money to control governments. And his Owlman's reply was, "What's the point?" Kind of a thing, of existence and all that. Wipe it all out.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I don't know.
The only beef with that movie is they made Owlman a bit too much like Thanos. In the comics, his ultimate goal is not to wipe out the universe as a whole. It's a little bit more complicated than that. So I thought the movie was an oversimplification, but that's just me. Speaking of movies, one thing I wanted to bring up, and I have thought this for years, I love the MCU. Unruly, I gotta tell you, I loved Loki in Thor. I did not like, I'm going to get some hate in the comments. I did not like Loki in Avengers.
Really?
I did not like Loki in Avengers, and I'll tell you why. I liked the angle in the movie with the son, and his identity is ruined because he finds out that he's actually the son of the Frost Giant, not Odin, and he's a complex character. He also showcases cool abilities in Thor #1 that he still hasn't showcased since. And then in the beginning of Avengers, it's just like, bah, I'm a bad guy now, and I'm gonna rule you all. And it was like, I feel like we needed a little in between or something. I don't know. That's just me. Obviously, I love the actor who played Loki. I just think that and it's the problem that the MCU had at the beginning of their movies. Their villains were a little bit too cookie cutter, which was strange when you had Loki being such a complex character that cared for people and was an interesting character in Thor 1. Just came back and was all like, "Brr." I don't know. I have thought this for years. I've brought it up to people, and they're like, "No, dude, Loki was amazing in Avengers. What are you talking about?" And I'm just like, really? Because what was his motivation?
It was a simplified version of the "I'm due a throne" kind of a thing. Yeah, so he, instead of being, the son of another guy, he was like, "I'm the son of a frost giant, so either way, I deserve a throne."
I think, yeah, in my own head, I try to justify it as like I'll show Odin. I don't know. I felt like it was a bit too I wish maybe they had set that path up at the end of Thor, or maybe we just need like a 30-minute short of Loki in between Thor and Avengers. But that's 9 years ago. Maybe I should get over it.
You know what? I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. But he was just basically a dick in the first movie.
Yeah.
But I think he had a redemptive arc, especially there in what was the third one? What was it?
Ragnarok.
No, I mean the third Avengers movie, or was it Endgame where he
You're thinking Infinity War. I feel like his character came full circle. I definitely agree. My only beef is with him in Avengers #1. He's all of a sudden evil, and we don't know why, because he wasn't evil in #1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But in the comics, he started off, just a horror.
Yeah, in the comics, he's the Norse. He's very much the Norse mythology god. Loki, the trickster, the douchebag. In the comics, they set that out really well. So I think if I have a preference, my favorite iterations of Loki are Thor 1 and comics Loki, although I do like the later MCU version.
Yeah.
Well, now there's a couple other comic versions of Loki, and Alan Moore's top 10, the Loki in that comic, top 10. If you've never read it, it's an incredible series.
I never have.
It's a whole city with a population of like 1.5 million, where every inhabitant in the city has some kind of power. And top 10 is one of the precincts of police that are tasked with policing this city. And they go to a bar where the Norse gods are celebrating Thor's birthday. They get called because he's laying on the floor dead. And it turns out Loki tricked him into drinking poison. And the cops figure it out, and they're going to arrest him. And Thor comes back to life because he's a god, And so that they're like, oh, really? The cops, we did all this work, and now we're just going to have to walk? And as they're walking out of the door, Loki's handing Thor another drink.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we do have a you said you on a schedule thing for you, Min, here, so I want to bring it back to the discussion here. They're relatively even on the playing field as far as intelligence go. Like I said, the God of Mischief, original trickster, and intelligence rivaling that of Batman. So the question of intelligence can go either way somewhere. The big problem here, obviously, I think, is magic. Loki can do magic. How is Owlman going to overcome that to win? What is your most persuasive argument how he could overcome his magic? Is he going to have to plan this out ahead, or does he have some sort of gadgets?
This is the category I thought I would lose, because I don't think that Owlman has no magical abilities. He really, at that point, has his brains. Now, obviously, we've seen Batman overcome magic all the time. He can outthink and outsmart Constantine on occasions, things like that. Mm-hmm. He's gotten past Zatanna. But at the end of the day, magic is not only Superman's weakness, but is certainly a weakness of Batman's. Now, if that would be shared by Owlman's, maybe, because it's tricky to say. Owlman, much like Scarecrow, he crafts a lot of like enhancing drugs and things like that. So in addition to having a heightened intelligence and strength and things like that, he's able to create potions for himself. Now that helps him out in strength and intelligence. As for like magical warding off, he doesn't really have anything in that category. So I almost concede this argument over to Unruly, because I think Owlman would have some real trouble with magic. I think Owlman would win. I don't want to skip ahead, but I definitely believe Owlman would win in terms of strength. Now, I know magical is not the same thing as strength, and I know Loki can hold his own, but you got to see these comics of Owlman tossing people around, because he's essentially Batman, but with like Wonder Woman strength. Like, forget about it. You know what I mean? Like, incredibly powerful. Combine that as he is very much a, just like Batman, he's got contingency plans for everybody. If he saw Loki coming with some prep time, yeah. No prep time, I think Loki would smear Owlman over a magic-based battle.
Yeah, so that's the question for you guys in the chat and voting, I guess. If you guys think this is a sudden spur of the moment fight, then obviously it goes one way here, I guess. But if you think that Owlman, being as intelligent he is, might go, and this is a crime world, might be aware of all possible threats to him, might plan this out, then you might have to go with Owlman. So.
And I wanted to address, I just saw someone's comment about Batman using magic. Batman has learned magic to overcome his foes on occasion, but a lot of times in the comics, he's seen as like a naysayer to magic, almost as if he like doesn't believe it. And that's definitely been one of his downfalls. I actually covered that in one of my recent videos, that I think Batman needs to be more open to magic.
Yeah, she said Batman learned to overcome there.
Yeah.
There's no prep time, though, and then Loki's unpredictable. So, yeah, It makes sense that Loki, like I said, got a mischief for a reason. I mean, that's why I thought these two were... I mean, I love how these matchups are almost tend to work out perfectly to where I would set them up that way anyway. Like Kingpin versus Lex Luthor. I loved how that worked out. That was just...
Who's more bald? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the reason why they were supervillains. They were jealous that they had no hair anymore. So... You lose your hair, you take over the world.
Hey, man, I'm already thinning, so give me 20 years, I might be a supervillain.
Yeah, I'm like little evil.
Loki's strong suit is not long-range planning. He's like a very gifted amateur chess player. He can think 3 or 4 moves ahead, but that's the extent of it. He doesn't have backup plans and contingency plans, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why he tends to try to hit hard and the mostest,
Well, that definitely adds a little bit of the there too. If Loki is more spontaneous and all that, even if it's a sudden fight, Owlman might be able to overcome him in that sense, because Owlman would be more 12 steps ahead. How do I win this? And trying to see everything coming. Like, I tend to try and see everything coming before I do things. And then that way, even if I'm surprised by something, it's a little bit less of a shock and I'm more prepared for it. So again, this is almost a very nature.
Loki and Unruly, to your point, I like what you just said. He thinks like 3 or 4 moves ahead. He's almost really there to have fun. He reminds me of like a Silver Age Joker sometimes. Like
he has more than once in the comics, somebody is after his plans are foiled, or even once or twice when they've succeeded, but he took the long way around. People said to him, "Why'd you do it so effed up?" Because it's more fun that way.
It's more fun. Yeah, I think he has a couple similar attributes to the Joker, to be honest, but not modern Joker where everything's perfectly plotted out and masterminded, but definitely that fun, like just here to make everybody look like an idiot. I mean, that's definitely Loki, and I think Loki would make Owlman look like an idiot, but Owlman's got the backup plan to the backup plan to the backup plan times 10,
Right. I want to add one final thing into the fight here before we do start voting and wrapping things up. How is this fight going to end? Is Loki the kind, like I said, to play with his food but save it for another time? Or is he going to try and end it? Where, as far as I think Owlman, unless he has something specific in mind, he's going to try and put Loki in the ground, period, in the story.
Owlman's pretty ruthless.
So yeah, the question is, if Loki's fighting with one hand tied behind his back because he wants to play later, I don't see him going full out, even with magic, to defeat Owlman. Whereas Owlman, I'm done with this Joker. Let's get rid of him. So
it depends on when you catch Loki. There have been times in the comics when he's been brutal and just gotten it taken care of the issue at hand immediately. So I guess it depends on what version of Loki you hit and what time frame.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Well, if you guys have nothing further you want to add, I say we wrap
I
up.
wanted to add
Awesome.
one more thing. When I was thinking about this today, I was really thinking like, who's more evil? And so you've got Loki, and Loki obviously has his evil plans and schemes, but it is almost more mischievous and like more mischievous than it is evil. Owlman is born on a world in which willpower devoted to pure evil is the greatest form of achievement. Let me be clear. Just like how on the regular DC Earth, it's like the good guys, on Earth 3, the most evil you can be is the highest level of achievement.
Mm-hmm.
And Owlman has never wavered. He's never played like buddy to Thor. You know, Loki can sometimes be a good guy, you know, like whatever he's feeling. If he's in the mood, he could be an anti hero for a day, but usually he's a villain. Owlman is a villain 8 days a week. He has only one thing in mind, and it is his goals. And because of that, I think Owlman is more evil and has just a bit more willpower to achieve his goals than Loki would.
Yeah.
But now, when was Owlman introduced?
64. Hold on. I want to say 64. Let me look that up. It was 64. I think it was 64. Owlman first appearance. Wow, yeah, I had that right. 1964. Amazingly, they didn't use the crime syndicate again for a little while. I know that.
I'm just what I'm trying to say. The point I'm trying to make, I think, is because, like I said, you know, I had to look Owlman up. I didn't know anything about him, and he's very interesting. That's for sure. I'm gonna track down some of his shit to find, you know, read about him.
I have
But you know,
recommendations.
Loki's been a constant presence for 58 years, so
Yeah.
of course he has ups and downs. He's you know, an anti-hero. He's a ruthless villain here, basically. But the only thing that Loki is true to in the comics is Asgard. He's had 2 or 3 chances to help destroy Asgard, and he couldn't do it because he basically wants to rule it. And so, like that was one of, and it was in the '60s. I think it was in Thor. It was after Journey into Mystery, where he led an invasion, and his whole goal was, you know, to conquer Asgard and rule it. And then when he finds out, God, I can't think of who it was. It was some kind of trolls or demons. When he found out they just wanted to destroy and pillage, well, then he turned on them and helped the rest of Asgard defeat it. So like I think that's the only thing he holds true to is Asgard, and occasionally his brother, and even more rarely his dad. He has saved Odin once or twice, usually from his own bullshit, you know, from the stuff Loki has set up.
He caused a problem, but then he was the solution of the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I broke it. Now I'm fixing it. So, all right. Well, let's have closing arguments here. So it's been a fairly good fight. You guys both brought up a few good points. I forgot a few things that you mentioned here, and then I forgot obviously a few of the aspects on that. You know, but of course, like I said, I remember halfway through. You know, character obviously is important. I thought in the argument here. So, how old is Owlman? Loki's been around for many lifetimes. Well, that's that question too. I guess you can.
Owlman's like the same age as Bruce Wayne. Loki's been around for what, 5,000 years? To answer that question, I think.
Okay. So here we go. Unruly, you get to have your first closing statement here. Why, you know, sum up your argument again here and why Loki wins this fight. So here you go.
Let me preface this by saying that being brought up on Earth 3 must be no fun whatsoever. But I'm just, he's Loki. He's Loki. You know him. You love him. He's a badass. He's wicked with the ladies. He can drink you under the table. And it took Thanos to actually kill him, but through vagaries of time travel, he's out there running around, and soon we'll get to see his adventures again.
Awesome.
True.
Cool. And Owlman.
And then I believe that Owlman would win. The only crutch he has is the fact that I think Loki's just a household name. Honestly, I think more people need to know about Owlman because I think he's not only one of the best Batman villains, I think he's one of the best DC villains. Man, they really need to write him in more. By the way, Unruly, you're going to want to check out the Forever Evil storyline. That's a good Owlman story. But Owlman, he is the embodiment of evil and willpower. And although he has been defeated, he's never truly lost, even when he has achieved every goal he's intended to achieve. If you watch the video, if you watch or read any of his comics, he wins in the end. It's kind of like that Zemo thing from Civil War, where it looks like he loses, but he doesn't really lose. He was even killed by Dr. Manhattan because he was obtaining the secrets to the entire universe, and Dr. Manhattan didn't want him to do that. Dr. Manhattan, if you don't know, is essentially as powerful as the Presence, which is DC's highest powerful thing. And guess what? Owlman survived. He survived Dr. Manhattan. He can survive Loki.
What storyline was that? That must be pretty recent, huh?
That was very recent. That was within the New 52. And so it's a little bit of a spoiler warning. So with New 52,
Go vote, everyone.
if you don't know, essentially it's Dr. Manhattan was in charge of creating this New 52 alternate timeline in recent-ish comics. And when Owlman is basically zapped in a big blue light, it's unexplained at the time, like what the heck happened here. It's eventually revealed to us in DC Rebirth, which is the current run that was out. That was Dr. Manhattan. He had to step in because Owlman was about to F everything up. Like, you know, and that's how important Dr. Manhattan has become in the last 10 years as a whole. He wasn't even supposed to be in DC canon at all, but here he is. He's been pulling the strings. And if Dr. Manhattan says, okay, wow, the biggest threat to me right now is Owlman, I really think that says something.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So this has been a fun argument here. So whoever wins gets to move forward to the next round, and you'll be facing off against Kingpin. So.
Oh wow, Kingpin beat Lex, huh?
Yeah, I was surprised too. I would have voted for Lex Luthor. You know, I might be kind of more of a Marvel guy, but as far as the supervillains go, Lex Luthor I thought was just better. So, but I don't vote unless there's a tie because since I'm the host, I don't want to play favorites. I'm here just to spur things along. Even if I might be one-sided favorite, I try and be neutral. I'm here to cast a deciding vote to listen to the arguments just in case. So let's get the screen shared. If anyone hasn't voted yet, you still have a little bit of time.
See, this is cool. I know nothing about New 52 or Rebirth at all.
Dude, I could talk about that stuff for days. I think everything DC does is fascinating. I love Marvel, but I don't know. Sometimes the writing behind DC just like it puts a smile on my face. Like some of the stuff they come up with, man. Yeah.
Well, in the 80s, after the original Crisis, for about 3 or 4 years, DC ruled the world, man.
Yep.
You know, Batman was firing on all cylinders. Byrne had Suits. Perez, Wonder Woman. Flash was great. Justice League was off the chain.
Yep. Marvel's definitely king right now because, frankly, Marvel knows how to make good movies. DC's struggle, other than like Christopher Nolan's trilogy, and you had that great recent Joker movie come out.
I hated that. But
you hated that?
I didn't like it at all. That was just.
I haven't seen it yet.
But that's my opinion.
I'll tell you what, I have no critical facilities when it comes to the movies. I enjoyed Batman versus Superman. I enjoyed the Justice League movie.
Yeah, I mean,
if you enjoy those movies, then that's good. Like that's what the movie set out to do. It's entertainment. I feel like I've come to demand like more. Maybe it's because Christopher Nolan's movies were so good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wanted more.
Well, there's no doubt the Marvel movies are superior.
Yeah.
especially in weaving it all together.
Oh yeah. By the way, I've been loving WandaVision. I don't know if you guys are watching that, but
Yeah, when luckily I stuck it out or whatever, because the first 2 episodes I was like,
oh, the first 2 episodes of WandaVision are a snore fest, but knowing what you know in the later episodes makes those episodes great.
yeah, I mean, I guess there's a reason why black and white shows aren't my thing, or the old. I mean, good thing I wasn't born back then for the movie's sake. You
It
know,
reminded me of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the results going here since we gave people enough time. So, who is moving on to face Kingpin? The results are.
Oh, that's not right.
What can I say? Just
Popularity contest all day.
karma is a bitch, I gotta say.
Yeah, I know
Dude.
Comics is loving this right now. Last week when we did Batman versus Batman Beyond, this is exactly what happened last time.
Yeah, that is just karma in a nutshell. So I'm enjoying it just a little bit.
Listen, man, Owlman's laughing at that score right now.
Dude, I'm dead serious. I'm going to track those down, whatever I can find in trades, and read the hell out of it.
You know what, Unruly? There's not even like a good. I was looking for like a YouTube video tutorial of like Owlman explained. There's not even a good YouTube video out there of like someone breaking down Owlman. I think I might have to do that video myself.
So there's your next video right there, a detailed thing of Owlman, so someone can have.
The Wikipedia entry is really good, I thought.
Yeah, no, it is.
If it's accurate, which
it is accurate. I looked at this one you probably read today is the same one I looked at. Yeah, no, it's absolutely great. And even Owlman just this like a couple months ago or 1 month ago popped up in comics again. Have you heard of the Batman Who Laughs?
Yeah.
So he's another evil version of Batman. And Owlman just came up and he was like, who is this bitch? I'm the evil version of Batman. And he basically F's everything up for the Batman Who Laughs and is like, I don't care. I am the ultimate evil Batman.
Yeah, that's
awesome. Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's an exhibition match I want to see.
What comic is his first appearance?
I can't remember if that's in Death Metal or if it's in the Death Metal tie-ins. It's in
not Batman Who Laughs. I mean Owlman originally.
Justice League. His first appearance, and he was a little different then. I will say, the Justice League of America, number 29 in 1964. Yeah.
Interesting. So, all right. Well, this has been
Ultraman 2. First appearance of Ultraman.
Yeah, if you have that comic, that is a highly valuable comic book, my friend.
Yeah. So this was a great matchup. I did enjoy it. It looks like I'll be seeing you again, Unruly, against Kingpin. I have a feeling he'll be much easier to look up and form an argument against than Owlman. So, and Mint Hunter, I'm sorry, but your karma and Crow is waiting for you downstairs.
That's karma.
If I was a disinterested watcher, I would have voted Owlman all day.
Well, yeah, you were both welcome to vote for yourselves and all that. At least then you would not have been.
I'll put a vote in for me. Yeah.
At least then you would have been shut out.
But before I go, just a quick reading order for anyone. If you want to read Owlman, there's a great. I think it was by Grant. Oh, I can't remember if it was Jeff Johns or Grant Morrison, or maybe it was Brubaker. I don't know. But in the 90s, there's a great crime syndicate book that came out, and I think it's called Earth 2, not Earth 3. Yeah. But it's totally worth a read. That's the best Owlman story, I thought. But then in more recent years, there was the Forever Evil arc, and then there's everything going on with the death metal right now. So if you want to see, I think someone in DC got wise to, this is a great character, and we need to be using him more. And he's started having more of a presence. I think if we did this video 10 years from now, that score might be a little different.
Yeah. So before we do wrap things up, I will want to shout out, I'm dropping a link now to a video. It is for my drive to 1,000 subs. Let's see where I got it. Anyway, I'll just do it this way. Never mind. But anyway, for my drive to 1,000 and all that, so I'm still over 400 away. But if anyone wants to win this Fantastic 449, the link is just in the description now. All the details are there. All you have to do is be a sub to my channel, like the video, and comment drive to 1,000 in the comments. And that's it. You're entered and you're good to go here. So, and there's other rules, other ways to enter. Like if you bring friends to my channel and they say Unruly or Mint Hunter sent me, you guys get extra entries as well. So just sending people my way gets you extra entries if a chance to win the book. And all I have to do is, very simple to enter. So, like I said, all the details are found in that video. Just click on it. Anyone watching this video, make it all this way here, and you guys can learn how to get that. So, Unruly, is there anything coming up on your channel?
No. I post a video so rarely. It's like once every month and a half or 2 months I'll post a haul video.
Okay, that's cool. And any other 9.8 videos dropping your channel, Mint, or?
I've always got something coming out.
Or a retraction on why Batman?
Now, let me try to do this. Do you see this Green Lantern statue here? All you got to do to win this, once I get to 2,000 subscribers, this could be yours. Make sure you're watching my videos as a whole. Like and comment down below. Just keep my engagement up. It helps the YouTube algorithm. And as always, guys, with me, just strike up a conversation. I'd love to dork out with you. I live to talk comics, so it's just fun for me. Oh, and check out my most recent video. I just did a research project into what the earliest 9.8s are ever recorded. So it's the first 9.8s on the census. So if you've ever wanted to know that, I cover all that. I also cover what is the first 9.8, perfect 9.8 of basically all the major superheroes.
It's an excellent video with some surprising stuff in there.
Nice. Well, I definitely look forward to your next video here, Mint, on how Batman really does lose to Batman Beyond. So I look forward to that video. So,
all right, guys.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. I will get with Big Will and Reverse Flash, or no, not Reverse Flash, Flash. I can't think of his name right now. I'm drawing a blank for a second here. But the next episode will be Bane versus Reverse Flash. So,
ooh.
Yeah. So I look forward to that. So yeah, you'll have to join in, Mint Hunter, so you can be in the chat, on why Bane's supposed to win and all that, since the other guy is kind of quick. So I look forward to that episode, Bane versus Reverse Flash. So take care, everyone. So stay tuned for the next episode. I will drop those details in Instagram as soon as I have them. So until then, Mr. Comics 89 signing off. Take care, happy collecting, and stay safe, everyone.